the top 5 Samuel L. Jackson roles. This was a awesome exercise. This is one of the tougher ones I've ever had to do.
Agree.
And so many, because he also, like, what I like about Samuel Jackson's career is obviously he's been a star, he's been a supporting actor, but he can come in for 5 minutes and just knock it out of the park and then go home. And and so he's got a lot of great roles. So I'm going to be definitely curious to see who's got what. We will start with Rose. We'll start with you.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 5 this time. So for me, number 5, and you're gonna laugh about this, but I think he's so great that even his voice makes so much noise. But in The Incredibles as persona, I think he's amazing. And you can see Samuel L. Jackson in the character. So
for sure,
I went with
definitely
that one.
Has a very distinct voice.
Then Hateful Eight or 7. No, Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. Excellent that.
Excellent that one. Yeah. And the second one, the other one is The Young Unchained. So I have 2. What's his director name?
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino's movies.
Yeah.
Then this was difficult, and I know this is probably gonna be the first for all of you, but I put second Pulp Fiction because for me, A Time to Kill is his best movie. Like the time. He gives his monologue, and everybody cries.
In that one, good call, Rose.
Yes, you deserve to die.
Yeah, no, you
I hope you burn in hell.
And then he comes and snaps against the 2 guys and everything. I think for me, the first one is a Time to Kill. Like, I know Pulp Fiction is good, but in that one scene is one scene that I will watch and watch and watch and watch and cry.
It's definitely an iconic scene
every time.
That's a good list.
Rose, forgive me. What was your number 5? I didn't hear.
My number 5 was The Incredibles.
The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
All right, Pete. Let's see what
That's
you got.
Nice. Okay, so my top 5 Samuel Jackson roles. Number 5, of course, Paws of Fury: The Legend of Hank, which comes out July 15th.
Good plug.
Theaters near you.
I like it. Perfect.
Produced by somebody who is super awesome. Directed by Rob Minkoff, who of course directed the original Lion King. He is incredible in that, and the guy that produced him was even more incredible. Number 4, I picked Unbreakable.
Promotion.
Yeah, sorry, had to do it.
Yeah.
Number 4, I put Unbreakable because I love that character a lot, and he was obviously in 3 movies after that. It was just really cool to see him in that kind of a role, and not a ridiculous superhero role like a Nick Fury, but like a human version of a superhero. Yeah. Number 3, I put Time to Kill because I agree it was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Not only he deserves to burn in hell, but even all of the very emotional moments between him and his family, and between him and Matthew McConaughey, and trying to make him realize why he's seeing things differently. Just really powerful movie. Number 2, I put Die Hard with a Vengeance because it was in a hilarious role. It was almost like the same Sam Jackson that you know and love, but in a different setting where he's just running around with Bruce Willis all day, and it's funny, and I laughed the whole time he opened his mouth. And number 1, I mean, you could go with any of his Quentin Tarantino roles, but you can't not put Pulp Fiction as his most iconic, best performed, more quoted than any other role that he's ever had in his life. So Pulp Fiction is number 1 for sure.
Good call. Dominique, what do you got?
So I'm very similar to the lists that have already been given. Number 5 came in with Steven and Django, just because I thought he was just so great and entertaining in that. Number 4, I liked, and let me just preface by saying these are all movies that I know and love and have seen. I know there's a ton of other roles that he's done that I'm not familiar with. But number 4, you know, his bit part in Coming to America, right? I love that movie.
Nice.
It's just
So
it's like you
funny.
said earlier, Paul, you know, when you said that he can just come in and
Yeah.
do a little 5-second scene and be on his way and just like, you know, make his mark. I really feel like he did in that. Number 3, gotta go Star Wars, Mace Windu, Jedi,
Yeah.
right?
Good one.
Also because he added diversity. That was the first time I feel like diversity was added to a Star Wars movie. Now we see it a lot. I think afterwards you didn't really see it until like Rogue One maybe, but prior to that it was not very diverse cast. So I was glad to see him added to that.
Right.
I think Lando would have an argument to make with you though.
That's true. That's right. Like good old Lando Calrissian. How could I forget?
With his Colt 5 malt liquor.
Yeah. And I struggled between my 1 and 2, piggybacking off the other lists. I gotta go. This is hard for me to say it, but A Time to Kill, Carly Haley is number 2.
Yeah.
And I think because it was the first book that I read where I felt like the film followed so closely to how the character development was written in the book.
Yeah.
And he just really hit the nail on the head as far as this man that obviously committed a heinous crime, but you know, you're rooting for him. You feel his pain, you feel his anger, you feel his motive.
Yeah.
You know, all of those things. And then, yeah, number 1, I'm agreeing with you on, you know, Pulp Fiction, Jules. Are you kidding me? I remember being 14, super inappropriate. What was I doing at the theater watching Pulp Fiction, right? And, you know, I mean, how many years later has that been? 25 maybe? And I'm still quoting it to this day.
Yeah.
You know, the one that says bad motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it just never gets old. I've watched an interview with him recently when people asked him about, you know, the host, whoever the interviewer was asking him about Pulp Fiction or just his favorite roles that he had done himself. And he said, you know, to this day, all these years later, he gets people asking him, you know, about the Royale with cheese. It's just,
Yeah.
It goes down. And I think too, for me, that was the first film that I had seen by Tarantino that I was like, whoa, what is this? This is so different. And it was also the first film that I saw where it had all those different stories going on with all these different characters.
Right.
And how they all connected later on. And that I'd never seen anything like that before. And that was pretty epic too.
For sure. Good list. So I have number 5, Jurassic Park, only because, you know, hold on to your butts is
right.
And the way he's just always has a cigarette in his mouth while he talks.
Yep.
That is one of the hardest things in the world to do. Again, just kind of a bit part. Obviously, it's not a hit for him, but you know, he's one of the more likable characters in this film. Number 4 originally had Mace Windu, but then I switched it out for the other guys, and he's PK Highsmith, and it's just again another small role for him, but he just comes in. You know, him and The Rock come in, and again, like when you're talking about you need a badass motherfucker to be this role.
Yeah,
you know, that's what Samuel Jackson does, and he just comes in and crushes it. And then you know, when him and The Rock just give each other dap before they jump off the building, it's just again iconic. Number 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Zeus. Like Pete mentioned, it's just such an excellent role, and it's just so entertaining. Again, he just knows how to he knows how to master making it tolerable to watch angry. You know what I mean? And he just does it so well. Number 2 for me, Unbreakable, Elijah, and then number 1, Pulp Fiction, Jules. Now, I totally forgot about Time to Kill. I must have just kind of glanced it over, but I agree with all you guys. That should have been on my list.
Great movie.
That should have been on my list, and I messed up there. Without completely wrecking my list. I'd probably replace it with the other guy's role, but I still I got to.
You definitely lost this one, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in competition.
I know, but if you were done,
yeah, I would have lost just because I omitted Time to Kill. All right. Well, I actually like all your guys' lists. You guys all have strong lists.
For our audience out there, if you really want a really fun listen with Sam Jackson, go to YouTube and type in. He read a children's audiobook called Go the Fuck to Sleep.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It is so good.
If you're a parent, you can totally relate.
And so I have a special treat for us.
Start the tour. Hold on to your butts. He's gonna eat the goat.
What's the matter, kid? Never had lamb chops?
Excellent.
Yeah, obviously the main point of that was so you can see my incredible acting skills, because I had two iconic lines in that show, and that's "Hold on to your butts" and "What's the matter, kid? You don't like lamb chops?"